Listen, sometimes you're in bed, you're under the covers, you're about to put the phone on the charger, and then your best friend texts you from France, of all places. So it's midnight for me. I don't know, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. for him. I don't know what time it is in France right now. And you get a message that says, Rise Tarnished, check Twitter. And Elden Ring DLC has been announced. Finally, we are a year and 3 days after the release of Elden Ring. Came out February 25th of last year. And the official Elden Ring Twitter, I'm getting flashbacks to the dearth of news that we had about this game for 2 years. Elden Ring Twitter says, Rise Tarnished and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is currently in development. We hope you look forward to new adventures in the lands between. So obviously we got to talk about this, right? So let's bring up the photo chop real quick, and we need to dissect this piece of art. This is all we've gotten, and there's a few things in here that I want to talk about. A few things. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit, and then let's actually move me. Let's move me. I think I'm in an okay place. All right, so we have super important here. We have someone on a spectral steed. Maybe it's Torrent. And then we have what looks like a corrupted Erdtree. Now, two very important things. There is an NPC in Elden Ring that we sort of see, and they're referred to a lot. There's actually two of them, and I believe they're both represented here in this piece of art. That is Miquella and Godwyn. So Miquella is, of course, inside the egg that Mog, the Lord of Blood, absconded with while Malenia was out fighting Radahn. And by the time Malenia came back, Miquella was gone, nowhere to be found. But Mog was attempting to, start a dynasty with Miquella somehow. Unclear how that would have worked. I don't know how Miquella could have given birth to Mog's babies. I don't know. It's unclear. But I firmly believe that this person right here, this is Miquella. Now, couple reasons for this. One, it does appear, the person does appear to be male and childlike. So, long, golden hair. However, with Miquella and Malenia being the children of Radagon and Marika, I don't, Malenia has red hair. Maybe Miquella should have blonde hair. Maybe this is more strawberry blonde. We probably can't tell from here. But obviously very long hair, regal-looking braids, somewhat similar to, Godfrey. And this could possibly be Torrent. Now, one of the very distinct things I'm noticing here is the way, let's call him Miquella for now. Let's call this person Miquella. The way Miquella is sitting on the spectral steed, or the ox, very, very similar to Melina. Very similar to Melina. Melina rides Torrent like this, I believe, either in the beginning of the game or at the end of the game. I guess it would have to be in the beginning because she only recovers the whistle at the end of the game during the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. So I believe this is Miquella, and just interesting that he's riding in this fashion. That feels very distinct to me. It also says to me that a small person, right, may not be able to fully stretch his legs over the full body of the ox. Now, obviously we have a lot of, ghostly looking tombstones and, monuments maybe. But if we look over here, we see a couple of sarcophagi or sarcophaguses. Over here, this just sort of looks like some ruins. Nothing too distinct here, although maybe, I don't know, it's unclear if this is a doorway leading down, maybe into a crypt, or if this was just part of the same ruin. Obviously, one of the really distinct features here is the field of wheat. This, to me, indicates life. and that maybe the world is returning to normal or something like that. Like things are growing here, which is interesting, and it's gold. Now, the other really distinct piece here is this tree in particular. Could this be the Erdtree from our game? Possibly. Normally, the DLCs for Souls games and Bloodborne do not take place after the end of the game. They generally take place either in the past or in some sort of alternate world. In the case of maybe the Ringed City, although I think even the Ringed City was either in the past or the future. Something, I kind of forget. But the really important thing here is the gold sap leaking out of this tree. And the fact that it is completely charred maybe indicates that it could be after the end of maybe the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. That's when we actually hardcore, like, really burn the tree. The other endings seem, aside from maybe Ronnie's ending, really make it seem like there's sort of been like a rebirth. Like, they seem to be in a bit of a better spot. Dung Eaters notwithstanding. Anyway, point being, this tree is either completely charred or completely corrupted by Godwyn. And I think it might be a combination of the two, because the sap could be Godwyn's corruption coming through. We know that, Godwyn's corpse mutated underneath the capital, underneath the Erdtree, and started to rot the tree from the bottom, from the roots. That is, that part of Ainsel River is directly below the capital in the game. So it could be that this Erdtree is far into the future and Godwyn's corruption is starting to leak out of the tree into this. And you can see like there's a lot of ash, maybe some char falling from the tree, it seems. Just really, really distinct artwork. It's unclear where this could be, like what vantage point this could be taken from. However, one thing that I do want to note is that in Elden Ring in the game, if you look at the world map, there is a cloud in the middle of the world map, and if you were to like draw lines between all the divine towers, they intersect on that cloud, and typically things like that mean like, hey, there's something there. So that could be where we're going. Maybe that part of the world is revealed, and in this expansion, they're not calling it DLC. Like, they're calling it DLC, but they're not calling it like a side adventure. They're not calling it like extra content. They're calling it an expansion. And, it's 1:45 in the morning. I haven't exactly looked at previous marketing campaigns, but the word expansion is very distinct to me. That seems like a very deliberate choice. And so it could mean that it's a completely separate adventure. It could mean that it's in the future. I just hope that it's not in the past. I feel like, in previous DLCs for Souls games and for Bloodborne, we go into the past and we see various kingdoms in ruin. It happened in the Ring City. Painted World of Ariandel was, something to the side, but had to do with the Ring City. All of Dark Souls 2's DLCs were in the past, different fragments of Manus manifesting themselves in different kingdoms. And even Dark Souls 1, Artorias of the Abyss, probably one of the greatest DLCs ever, is in the past. Bloodborne as well is in the past. Although I guess it's technically the Hunter's Dream, but it's clearly the past. Either way, it would be unique for Elden Ring to go into the future. And what would be especially unique is I'm actually making a realization as I'm saying this. Okay, so it'd be unique for Elden Ring to go into the future, and it's typically very difficult to go into the future of these games with extra content because of the fact that the endings, while there are many choices of an ending, they're all fairly definitive, especially in Elden Ring. Most of them involve you becoming a lord of some sort. In Ronnie's ending, you kind of become a Lord Consort, like it's indicated or implied that Ronnie becomes the queen and that you're sort of her consort. All the other ones, I believe, you become the Elden Lord. Lord of Frenzied Flame especially, you become like basically Dormammu. But this sort of indicate, like, the realization I'm making here is that you burn the Erdtree before the end of the game. Like, you burn the Erdtree and then get sent to Crumbling Farm Ozula, come back, and the Erdtree is ablaze by the time you return to Limgrave or Lane Dell. And so, like, no matter what ending you choose, the Erdtree is toast. So that could indicate that we're going to the future, that those choices, not that they don't necessarily matter, but they matter less in terms of DLC impact, because the critical choice of burning the Erdtree has already been made in every single ending, essentially. The game always ends with the Erdtree on fire, and there's no indication that it's ever being put out. So we committed the cardinal sin no matter what ending we choose. So hopefully we see more of this, in the summer. It's already been said that Nintendo's not going to E3. I doubt Sony and Microsoft will be there. However, E3 has sort of changed. It's now more of a season than an event. I still call it E3 just because I'm old. But hopefully at the Summer Game Fest hosted by Jeff Keighley, we see more of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Something really interesting is that, and I'll bring the tweet back up, something really interesting is that it says it's currently in development. So it doesn't say that it's now in development, like it's just been put into development. I have to imagine that they've been working on this since launch or shortly thereafter, after a bit of a break. But I don't know, like, this could be kind of far away. And the reason I'm saying that is because this is the longest a From Software game has gone without a DLC. So I think Bloodborne was the longest, and I think it was a year between the 1.0 release and Old Hunters. And that was actually supposed to be 2 DLCs, but they delayed it and combined it into one adventure. But we knew it was coming for quite a while. Dark Souls 2 DLC got announced almost immediately, like a month or two after release. I think it got announced in April, or the first one came out in April after a February or March release. Dark Souls 3, it was pretty immediate, the announcement. Dark Souls 1, I think, was like 6 months or 9 months after. I didn't play Dark Souls 1 at launch, so I don't know. Sekiro never really got a story DLC, and neither did Demon Souls. But Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and Bloodborne, the DLCs were out and playable within a year, and we're now just getting an art piece announcement for Elden Ring. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see it this year. Maybe it'll be a next year sort of thing. Maybe it'll be a gigantic expansion, like a real, I'm thinking like an MMO style expansion where it's like a lot of content in a package that's like $39 or something, $40 or something. Who knows? That's pure speculation. But I have to imagine we're going to see something this summer. If we don't, I wouldn't exactly be surprised, but that's just me. But either way, I'm very excited, and especially because my friend, I was literally about to put the phone on the charger and go to sleep, and my friend messaged me from France. He's on vacation there, and said, "Rise Tarnished." Go check Twitter, and here it is. Cool. So, had to make this video. I've announced that I'm taking a tiny bit of a break from YouTube, but I just couldn't not make something for this. But, if you haven't seen any of my videos in a while, I'm just feeling a tiny bit burnt out, so I'm going to probably skip Resident Evil, maybe cover Star Wars, but 100% come back for Zelda. Just need to recharge. It's been a long time. Been going at this for 4 years straight, basically, so I need to take a break. But cool. So there's Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC announcement. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let the speculation run wild. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.